To put you in situation, I live in a house with a driveway where I park my car and I have a dog who stays in the backyard but can see who enters my property as well as cameras filming the driveway. Also here in Spain, or at least where I live, Halloween or trick-or-treating is not a thing. So what happened is that on Halloween's night, a group of 5 kids, 8-11 years old, from my neighborhood, come to my house trick-or-treating. I tell them that I don't celebrate Halloween and that I'm sorry, but I don't have anything for them. They told me that they'd have to trick me now, but I asked them not to because again, I don't participate doing Halloween stuff. I could hear them trick-or-treating other houses, but I minded my own business. After a while I thought they left, but I hear my dog barking, and that usually means someone entered my property. So, I look out the window, and I see the kids throwing eggs at my car. If one thing in my life is sacred as my car. I ran out and yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" They replied, "We told you we were going to trick you," and then ran away. I was pissed. The kids lived in my neighborhood, so I went to talk to their parents. I found them all together having dinner, and I told them what happened, showing them the footage. They laughed and said something like, "Well, it's Halloween. Kids do stuff like that. It's not a big deal, you can clean this up in 15 minutes. I say, excuse me? They did that after I told them don't celebrate Halloween. After I asked them not to do anything for that reason. And throwing eggs. Couldn't they just ring my bell and then run away? After they said chill man, they saw the throwing eggs thing in a movie and they wanted to try it. We can pay for the cleaning. And here is where I might be an idiot. No. Halloween here is not a thing. I don't give a crap about Halloween, and your kids making me a part of it, it's not okay. I need you to teach them that actions have consequences and that they need to respect other people's beliefs and what they celebrate or don't. I want them to clean my car." What? They're kids, can't you just take the money and leave? No. You just can't fix their crap for them or they'll do this again. Now, what if they don't and we don't give you any money? Well, I'll call the police. I have footage of them trespassing and vandalizing my car. And they're minors, so you'll be responsible of what they did. To be honest, I wasn't really going to call the police. They answered with okay chill, we'll tell them to come, so I had the kids in my house washing my car a while after. Not even 10 minutes after it was done. I was proud of myself, not for making kids clean my car, but for kind of teaching them a lesson their parents wouldn't teach, even though it's not my job to do that nor my problem. But this last days I've been getting calls from them saying that I'm an idiot. And I'm going to be honest, now that I'm not angry anymore, I kinda feel bad. Am I the idiot here? Should I apologize? Not the idiot. That's vandalism, plain and simple. It doesn't matter if they were just kids celebrating Halloween, it does not change the fact that you clearly stated to them before that you weren't part of the celebration. And as you said so, there's other ways to trick someone than throwing eggs on a car. You shouldn't have to deal with cleaning it because a bunch of kids didn't got properly educated on respecting people's properties, which clearly didn't happen as the parents' reaction proven. Not the idiot. Eggs can damage paint, at least house paint, and it's not your responsibility to clean it up. Here in the United States where we do Halloween, it would be extremely rare for kids to do a nasty trick like that, and I would 100% expect them to clean it up. Although it's far more likely to happen on mischief night. If someone came to me with proof that my kid did it, then my kid would absolutely be sent to clean it up and be additionally punished. Not the idiot. Property damage is never considered an acceptable trick, even if you celebrate Halloween. You did the right thing and taught them a valuable lesson they were clearly not going to get from their own parents. Better they learn now than do something worse to others in the future or ruin their own futures. The fact that the parents offered you money before even asking their children to do the bare minimum of apologizing says a lot about the values in that household. My sister, 19, was diagnosed with a learning disability when she was 7. She was always my parents' favorite kid of the 3 of us, and that just cemented it. My parents babied her badly, and then they made excuses for her to be lazy because she's disabled or she struggles to learn. In time my sister would use the excuse that she was too stupid to pick up her clothes off the floor or walk someplace herself instead of being driven by me or our brother, the middle kid. My parents expected me and my brother to take care of her because we were doing good in school, and when we graduated it was like we owed them all for some damn reason. I'm a college graduate and recently got a full-time job. Since then my sister has been dying to move in with me. She keeps inviting herself to stay the weekend, and I always say no. I have refused to let her into my damn house when she has shown up expecting to be let in. My brother has issues with it too, but he's still in college so not as bad right now. I got a lecture from my parents and sister about why I won't let her stay. I told them it's not like she pay me or anything or buy food for herself. They said they could provide money. That I know she can't work. She said yeah, she's too stupid to actually work. I said that, if she's too stupid to work and pay for her own stuff then she's too stupid to be away from our parents and they need to do all the taking care of her, because she's not going to be my burden. As you can imagine it didn't go down well. They said it was a horrible thing to say. Maybe it was. Which is why I'm here. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, don't let them guilt trip you into doing something like that which you aren't content with. She is indeed not your burden. Your parents favorited her and parentified you in order to cater to her needs throughout your childhood. They built your resentment towards her and that's fathomable. You deserve to live by yourself and you don't need her clinging and bothersome things. Your sister is suffering from being made to feel she was stupid from age 7, your parents have totally failed with her. Dyslexia isn't an end-all thing, people deal with it and are successful in life with it all the time. Not wanting to deal with someone who has been kept at a child level is understandable. Your parents need to get her help to catch up and be independent unless they think they will outlive her. My partner has a learning disability. It doesn't affect his ability to work and contribute to the house. He may not be able to read long complex words or do long multiplication in his head, but he's far from stupid. Though he will try to use that excuse sometimes during minor disagreements until I remind him that's not the case, he's just being lazy and there's a difference. Not the idiot for telling her exactly what she and your parents have told you her whole life. You just repeated their own words and suddenly it's an issue. I'm 19, my sister is 24. We both have babies and they're 2 months apart, mine being 3 weeks old and hers being a few days shy of 12 weeks. I had planned to exclusively breastfeed, but I've got a supply issue that needs me to supplement with formula, whereas my sister exclusively formula feeds. I pump and top the bottles up with a scoop of formula once or twice a day. We use the same brand of formula, and usually when my sister visits me, she brings pre-made bottles to my house, but today she forgot. She asked if she could use some of mine, and I said not a full bottle, since I only have about 2 days left of formula, but she was more than welcome to one of bags in the freezer, and then to use a scoop of the formula to top it up. She said that was alright and went into the kitchen. It wasn't until she had left, a little over an hour later, and I went to make a bottle, that I noticed she had used pretty much all that was left of the formula. I called her just to say what the hell and she said the breast milk wasn't enough, so she put in 3 scoops of formula, but she was lying about using the BM, because there was 5 bags in the freezer, when I told her she could use it, and there's still 5 bags. I told her she needed to replace what she took, because I can't afford to, and she said that wasn't fair since I work, and she doesn't so clearly I can afford it. I can't, I'm on minimum wage and maternity leave. I got pretty angry at her and asked her, are you actually freaking stupid? You know I can't produce enough to feed my baby and now I have to stress about what to do until I'm paid next because of you. She got pretty offended by me calling her that and said I can just feed baby more. I again asked if she was stupid because she just wasn't getting it and she hung up and blocked me on pretty much everything. I'm now wondering if I'm the idiot here. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, this is very inconsiderate of your sister. As someone who has also been on very low supply, would you be open to some tips to improve your supply? I had amazing help from a lactation consultant and ended up not needing formula anymore, but getting to the right supply for my baby. I can thoroughly recommend a lactation consultant, but if you can't afford it, I would happily share some of the tips I got that have been very beneficial for me. Your sister is quite literally stealing food meant for your newborn. You don't need to have thieves in your life, and if you feel compelled to, the answer is to never allow them unsupervised access to anything, but that sounds exhausting to maintain. Some people have suggested food stamps. I would also suggest looking into any local charities that have emergency food banks or emergency food cupboards. Even if they lack baby formula, if you qualify for regular food, that can free up space in your budget. Not the idiot. She is stupid, or she tried to put the cost of formula on you. Look for Red Cross number or any church near you, maybe the help, they usually keep and give formula for emergencies. In my area also hospital gives it for free, but I don't know where do you live, here the health system is free, so I don't know, but the others should have it. My parents got divorced. When I was 14 my dad remarried when I was 16. My stepmom had a 15-year-old son named Adam with pretty severe autism. A few months after we all moved in together Adam became pretty attached to me. He'd cry if I locked my door, throw tantrums if I had guy friends over, and just generally glue himself to me on my days there. I moved out for college a few states away, and my dad just called to tell me they had gotten an Airbnb to stay for Thanksgiving break. The Airbnb has 2 rooms, one of which is separated by a sliding divider thing with no lock. I told my dad I had plans and he told me I had to come because it had already been booked and Adam really missed me. I kind of snapped. I told him how uncomfortable Adam made me and how I hated that he never did anything about it when I lived with him. I ended the call pretty abruptly after I told him I was not staying with him over break. Him and my stepmom have been blowing up my phone calling me ableist and saying how horrible it is that I think Adam would do anything. He hasn't done anything physical and I do care about him, but I really need outside perspective. Not the idiot. You are not the parent here, they are. They need to understand, accept and manage Adam's effect on other people. Sounds like you feel smothered by the situation. Particularly when your parents arbitrarily made weekend plans for you without consulting you first. A rather high-handed thing to do considering you live several states away and essentially have your own life now. You've expressed your concerns about the locked door and other things now and in the past. If your dad cannot respect your concerns, then you have no choice but to distance yourself. Your parents are idiots for failing Adam by not teaching him boundaries. And for disrespecting yours. You and Adam weren't raised as siblings, you met after puberty, which makes this fixation more concerning to me. He may not have done anything physical yet, but we all know what eventually happens with those with no boundaries or consequences. If not you, he will push that limit with someone else, and they won't be so understanding. Your parents need to teach him before someone else does. The way I see it, things got to where they are because your dad and stepmom did not take your boundaries into account. It's not that you have an issue with Adam per se, but rather you don't trust them to understand your perspective and help maintain healthy boundaries when needed. I kinda feel bad for Adam because he seems to like you, but your dad and stepmom handled the situation pretty badly, making any potential healthy relationship between the two of you hard to form. Mainly because of the boundaries they ignored or did not reinforce. The guy I manage is always late. 5:25 minutes every time. Generally speaking, it's not a big deal and it had no effect on the operation, so I let it slide. These guys work on call, so even the most diligent guys are occasionally 5-10 minutes late. Most just call me and give me a heads up beforehand. However, after noticing a pattern I spoke to this individual and said, if you are going to be late, I need you to call me. Just let me know, that way I can plan around it. Next time he is on duty, he shows up 25 minutes late. No call. I find him and let him know that he is getting a formal reprimand and the next time he is late, it will be a 10-day suspension. That's the standard procedure. He tells me he is sorry and it won't happen again. But then 2 days later my HR director calls me and says a complaint was filed against me for harassment. The guy was claiming it was the first time he was ever late and that it was less than 6 minutes. Also that I allow everyone else to be late. I explain the scenario to HR, but they are skeptical and make me withdraw my formal reprimand. I'm pissed and I start digging through records and security footage for the past 30 days. I find emails where I documented conversations and 5 instances of him showing up 30+ minutes late. I gather this all and send it to HR. They agree to reinstate the formal reprimand. But I insist that we go after him for dishonesty and insubordination, both fireable offenses. So, unless I withdraw those claims against him in the next 7 days he will remain fired. I am secure in my decision, but I've heard some other guys whispering about me being an idiot. So, am I the idiot? My company is very lenient with arrival times, lunch breaks, and leaving. Want to leave early? Show up early or don't take a lunch. Show up late. Let your boss know and make up for it by staying a bit late or cutting lunch short. It's amazing and I love it. This guy is taking advantage of a lenient system, then got called out for abusing it. He didn't like what happened and decided to escalate it by lying about the whole situation. Played a stupid game, won a stupid prize. Not only was he consistently late, but lied about a harassment case. You could have possibly lost your job and credibility if his complaint wasn't looked into. Let this be a lesson to document everything. Even if someone is 5 minutes late due to an emergency, document it. In regards to other employees, maybe have a meeting and quote the importance of being on time and reiterate the policy and consequences. That'll whip them in shape and get them in line about their own issues with attendance. Heck, when I was late by 10 minutes at 2 a.m., I apologized to my boss when she came in at 7 a.m. She laughed and said, "It's not like you do it all the time, don't worry about it." I had a co-worker like this guy in the bakery I worked at. It's shame for us, because if someone is scheduled at 6 a.m., they need to show up. Not walk in at 6:30, 6:45 or 7 a.m. after the store was open and he was on the counter. He got bounced after 4 times being late without calling. The moment you let it slide, you set precedents that he can do it again and again. And those guys that are whispering, "You're the bad guy right now for being an idiot, but if you keep this guy and he starts to piss off the rest of the guys, then you're the bad guy for not firing him." The hardest part about being a boss is that you're the bad guy, no matter what you do. In my experience, a boss everyone likes who does the job the way it should be done is rare, and if you're the boss who does everything the way it should be done, and you think everyone likes you, you're lying to yourself. You're always gonna be the bad guy. OP best be the bad guy that protects himself and stays employed.